Chantel Prat, The Neuroscience of You, The Surprising Truth About How Every Brain is Different and How to Understand Yours. Embark on a captivating journey of neurodiversity with Chantel Prat's book, The Neuroscience of You, The Surprising Truth About How Every Brain is Different and How to Understand Yours. This summary delves into the fascinating complexities of the human brain, explaining the structural and chemical differences that shape our experiences, personalities, and behaviors. From the intriguing case of London taxi drivers to the viral phenomenon of the dress, you'll explore the various ways our brains interpret the world and why we can have starkly different reactions to the same situations. Discover the impact of cerebral asymmetry, neurotransmitters, Hebbian learning, and personal experiences on our decision-making and biases, as well as the benefits and downsides of these variations.
The knowledge and brain specialization. The knowledge is a notoriously difficult test that London taxi drivers must pass, requiring them to memorize 20,000 streets and landmarks. A landmark study showed that successful drivers have a larger hippocampus, the region of the brain associated with spatial memory. However, specialization in this area comes with a cost, including a smaller top hippocampus and worse short-term and visual memory. This emphasizes that brains specialize differently, leading to variation in worldviews and behaviors based on experiences and structures. Unleashing the power of brain asymmetry. Have you ever wondered why some people are analytical while others are more creative? It all comes down to the structure of their brains. Our brains are made up of two hemispheres, and the degree of their lopsidedness affects how we process information. The left hemisphere is optimized for analytical tasks, while the right hemisphere excels in integrating different types of information. People with more lopsided brains tend to be detail-oriented, while those with more balanced brains consider the wider context. To determine your brain's lopsidedness, consider everyday tasks such as brushing your teeth or holding a broom, and which hand and eye you use. Understanding the structure of your brain can help you leverage your strengths and improve your problem-solving skills. The science of dopamine. Our personalities and behavior are significantly influenced by our individual levels of dopamine, a neurotransmitter responsible for the pleasure circuits in our brain. Those with more dopamine tend to be extroverts, seeking external stimuli and experiencing more pleasure, while those with less dopamine tend to be introverts. However, higher susceptibility to dopamine can also lead to addiction and obesity. Our unique mixology of neural cocktails, including other neurotransmitters like oxytocin, serotonin, and cortisol, creates different individuals. The dress and Hebbian learning. In this book summary, the author discusses how our brains create alternate versions of reality using the example of the viral image, the dress. The lighting in the image is ambiguous, causing our brains to rely on shortcuts to make assumptions about the source of light, which affects how we perceive the colors. These shortcuts are formed due to a process called Hebbian learning, where our brains learn from past experiences and make split-second inferences. However, experience-based shortcuts can also lead to biases. To correct these biases, we need to expose ourselves to diverse and real-world experiences and be intentional about the types of narratives we feed our minds.
In summarizing The Neuroscience of You, we've learned how brain structure, neurochemistry, and life experiences impact the way we perceive the world and interact with it. Cerebral asymmetry reveals why people have different tendencies when solving problems. Neurotransmitters like dopamine govern our motivation levels and introversion/extroversion. And Hebbian learning shapes how we use shortcuts for faster decision-making and forms our biases. To better understand ourselves and others, we must recognize that each brain is uniquely wired and shaped by diverse experiences. Embracing this understanding can pave the way for empathy, open-mindedness, and a deeper appreciation of the intricacies of the human mind.